Welcome back to the Acteria Magic Channel. I'm Steve, the Acteria. Today we are talking about Kamiz Obscura Oculus. But before we get into that, I want to let you know we are sponsored today by MTG On Command. They make these pretty sweet deck boxes. They're 3D printed. They've got this little magnet to hold your commander on the front so you always know exactly what's in your deck box. Link in the description below for 10% off your first purchase. Thanks for coming out today, y'all. We're going to do a smash and grab with Kamiz. Let us talk about Kamiz. All right, so Kamiz, this is in the Esper colors. So the new word for Esper is Obscura, and that is one of the families out of Streets of New Capenna. And we have a Cephalid Rogue for 4, an Esper, black, blue, white, and 1 generic. 2/4 says whenever you attack, target attacking creature can't be blocked this turn. It connives. Then choose another target attacking creature with lesser power. That creature gains double strike until end of turn. To have a creature connive, draw a card, then discard a card. If you discarded a non-land card, put a 1/1 counter on that creature. Sweet. So we're going to draw a discard. Sounds fun. Let's get into it. So the very first thing I thought of is I want my creatures to be really, really lethal. And especially considering that that second creature isn't unblockable, but it does gain double strike. So that creature would be really, really, really benefited by a little bit of Death Toucharoo. So Retreat to Hagara is a 1 black, 2 generic landfall enchantment that has landfall. When a land enters battlefield under your control, you choose 1. Target creature gets +1/0 and gains Death Touch until end of turn, or each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So what we're going to do is we're just going to target that creature that we want to have double strike later, and we're going to give it double strike and Death Touch. So now that first strike damage is just going to murder whatever they happen to be blocking with. That way our creature lives through the combat damage no matter what. Really, really cool. Also gives it +1/0, which is sweet as well. Now we're going to be getting a lot of 1/1 counters because if you notice there, the connive creature is going to get a 1/1 counter if we discard a non-land card. So now Proliferate. Sword of Truth and Justice is a great card to just include in the deck because it's going to give one of our creatures protection from white and for blue. Now it's kind of a little bit of a non-bow with our commander, but we don't care really because we're just going to get a Proliferate counter, a Proliferate trigger, and a 1/1 counter. So this is really, really good because we're going to have so many 1/1 counters. We can move it around from creature to creature. We can put this Sword of Truth and Justice on Kamiz herself, and just go to town and get 1/1 counters. So proliferating, all of our stuff is going to get 1/1 counters because we're going to be conniving so much. That's what the deck does. Now the next card I want to mention is Retribution of Ancients. For 1 black mana, you get an enchantment that says pay 1 black, remove X 1/1 counters from among creatures you control. That's fine. Target creature gets -X until end of turn. This is really, really powerful for sniping creatures around the table. Like, you're just going to have extra 1/1 counters, and you can do this after combat, during combat, whenever, so that you can maximize how much damage you do and then remove the counters and kill something. This is very powerful because it gets around indestructible and regenerate, and I even believe it gets around the new shield counter. This is good. This is really good. Now, next up, I like being able to untap my stuff, and Sparring Regimen, it's gets also 1/1 counter. It draws and discards, or discards and draws, and then it also untaps our creature. For a 1 white, 2 generic, whenever it enters battlefield, learn, you go get a lesson, which we don't do lessons in Commander, and then you can discard a card to draw a card. So discard that big beefy creature and then go and draw a new card. Fantastic. Whenever you attack, put a 1/1 counter on target attacking creature and untap it. So you can stack the triggers in such a way that you attack with all of your creatures, make this one a big unblockable creature, and something else is going to get, that's got lesser power, is going to get the double strike. Then that Sparring Regimen trigger can go on the stack on top of that and untap the double striking creature and make it bigger, potentially even bigger than the first creature we had. Sparring Regimen is really good. It makes our combats a lot more powerful, and now we can block. So since Kamiz is such a turn card sideways, this gives us a way to make our creatures bigger and retain our blockers. Very good. I love having answers in the main board. Collective Effort is one of those answers that I try and include in a lot of creature heavy builds. For 3 double white and 2 generic, 1 generic, you get a sorcery that says choose 1 or more. Destroy target creature with power 4 or greater. Destroy target enchantment, or put a 1/1 counter on each creature target player controls. So you just get to populate proliferate your board, destroy an enchantment, or destroy a creature with power 4 or greater. And to escalate this, you tap an untapped creature you control. So for 3 mana and tapping 2 creatures, we get to blow up a creature, an enchantment, and grow our board. Yes, please. Very powerful. The only downside, I think, to this is the sorcery speed, but still very good. Now, the bounce. This is the best card, I think, in my list. That is Cephalid Constable. For 3, 2 blue and 1 generic, you get a 1/1. This was a $20, $30 card, and then it recently came down to $7. If you don't have a copy of this, this card is going to go up in value because of this precon. Now, whenever it deals combat damage to a player, return up to that many target permanents that player controls to their owner's hand. This is a perfect connive creature. Now, this also works with the double strike. So if you want to give it the double strike, or if you want to make it the connive target, fantastic. Both of those are great things. Cephalid Constable, if it deals combat damage twice, it's going to bounce 2 permanents. If it has a 1/1 counter on it, it's got 2 power, it's going to bounce 2 permanents. Or if it's got 3 power, it's going to bounce 2 permanents, 3 permanents. It is so good. So unbelievably good. Now, I want to talk about some beatdown creatures. And I like the idea of getting my creatures out early so that I can go smashing away. And these 2 creatures really stuck in my mind. Kosi's Trickster is a 1 blue, 1/1. When an opponent shuffles his or her library, put a 1/1 counter on Kosi's Trickster. Now, we have so many fetches, so many ramp effects like Rampant Growth and Cultivate. We have so many Demonic Tutors, Worldly Tutors, Mystical Tutors. All of this stuff that's going on. Kosi's Trickster is just going to be a 1 mana. They have to deal with it because it's going to be a 5/5, a 6/6 really, really quickly. Now, if you have any way of giving it lifelink or trample or flying, oh my goodness, this becomes a real problem for people. Additionally, Sarah's Ascendant is just a beater on his own. He is gross. For 1 mana, you get a 1/1 lifelink human monk that says, as long as you have 30 or more life, Sarah's Ascendant gets plus 5/5 and has flying. What? Unchecked, this dude just takes somebody out of the game and you are going to be at like 60 life. It's gross. Now, continuing the beatdown trend, I really, really enjoyed Yahini and Walking Ballista. So, Yahini, Undying Partisan, is just going to be really hard for people to deal with. So, he's on curve with Kamiz, and for 3 mana, you get a 2/2 haste. When a creature an opponent controls dies, put a 1/1 counter on Yahini. Sacrifice another creature, Yahini gains indestructible until end of turn. As I recall, the Precon has somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 30 creatures. Correct me in the comments down below. But this means that you've got an unblockable creature that's getting bigger from all kinds of different ways, from conniving, from creatures your opponent's controls dying, getting it indestructible. It's fantastic. Now, Walking Ballista is another one. I really like that. For double X, Walking Ballista enters the battlefield with X 1/1 counters on it. Lots of people know about this thing. 4, put a 1/1 counter on Walking Ballista. Sweet, great. Remove a 1/1 counter from Walking Ballista. It deals 1 damage to any target. This, again, goes hand in hand with just being able to spot removal on your attack plan. So Walking Ballista, you pay 2 mana, you get a 1/1. Now you can go swinging with Kamiz, and you target Walking Ballista with the Connive trigger. Now Walking Ballista is going to get bigger. It can start shooting stuff. It's really, really hard for people to keep stuff out. And if you happen to have used Retreat from to Hagara on it, now those with that 1 point of damage can just kill any creature with it having Death Touch. Fantastic. Walking Ballista, I think, is just going to be an auto include in this deck unless you're a strictly Reanimator build. Now, Reanimate, holy crap, Reanimate's fantastic in this build. So we've got this draw and discard outlet built into our commander. We're going to be seeing so many cards in our deck. And the Reanimate stuff, Animate Dead, Reanimate itself, Victimize, Junji, all of these cards are just going to make our plan so powerful. We are going to be able to keep getting our threats back. We're going to draw and discard, putting our threats in the yard, making them cheaper to get back. Victimize is it's a 2-for-1 almost every time you play it. Junji's fantastic. It's going to get a non-dragon creature, put it back into play. Man, so good. And might I recommend these are your creatures to Reanimate. Ray of Dawnbringer and Shieldred. They kind of do something very similar. Ray of Dawnbringer, at the beginning of your upkeep, you may return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Heck yeah. And Shieldred takes it one step further. She says, at the beginning of your upkeep, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, that player sacks a creature. Whew, so good. Anyway, thank you all so much for coming out. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I feel like I've been talking like a madman today. MTG on Command, link in the description below for their stuff. I love you guys. Thanks so much for coming out. And by the way, if you've waited to this long, the reason why I haven't been putting out content is I just got married. Love you guys. Bye. Where's my button?